Because of Cyprus, I have the wrong birthday. Why? Well, for that, I'll need to explain the different flags, and then you'll understand. And yes, this Mediterranean island and its flags, plural, did affect the date on which I was born. Bold statement? It sure is. And Lidl plays a part in all this as well. Welcome to this personalised Cypriot flags in 50 places. But before we get into my past connections with the various Cypriot flags, let's look at the current main flag, based on the original design used on Independence Day on the 16th of August 1960, when the island became a republic following the British rule. More on that shortly. It's a national flag of natural design with the gold and yellow, or copper orange as it's officially called, silhouetted island and green olive wreaths to symbolise peace. It was designed by Turkish Cypriot artist İsmet Güney and was designed deliberately with peaceful intent for both the main residents of the island, the Greeks and the Turks. This meant that red, the main body of the Turkish flag, and blue, the dominant colour of the flag of Greece, was not included. The idea that this flag could unite these two communities in harmony and as one nation. Sadly, history tells us otherwise, because just 3 years later, in 1963, the two communities separated due to disputes over municipalities and taxation, which helped coin the term Cypriot intercommunal violence, which, to be fair, had originally started in 1955 and to an extent is still evident today. Today's version of the flag was adopted on the 24th of April 2006, and the presidential standard is simply a zoomed-in version. There were a number of proposals in the late 1950s offered, but this is the imaginative version offered by the British. Seriously, did we really hate the island that much to suggest the most uninspiring afterthought? Before this style of flag, and under British rule, the usual blue ensign flew over the island. First in 1881, this style with the initials CHC for the Cyprus High Commission, followed by this with 2 passant lines for the UK. And before this, well, like Canada, the Union flag was in use. And it's here that we come to our second flag of the island, because the British flag, or the Union flag, or indeed the Union Jack, I'll let you click on the link above to find out the official name of this flag. Anyway, this flag flies here because of the 2 sovereign bits of the UK soil that lay on the southern coastal areas, namely Akrotiri and Dhekelia. These 2 RAF bases cover a total of 254 square kilometres, or roughly 98 square miles. The British presence on the island goes back to the late 19th century, when the small island was leased to the UK by the former Ottoman Empire in 1878. And before that, this was the Kingdom of Cyprus and the Roman Empire, amongst various others' ownership. But back to the national flag. On the 19th of June 2006, the Cyprus Mail reported that İsmet Güney, the Turkish Cypriot who designed the flag, was seeking payment from the government 46 years later, after Archbishop Macarius had agreed to pay Güney £20 a year, but never received a penny. At that point, he was owed a whopping £920, worth the legal fees itself, I'm sure. What of the other 2 flags of Cyprus? Well, the flag number 3, we have to travel north to the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, a remnant of the Greek attempt to annex the island on the 15th of July 1974, which resulted in Turkey getting involved to fight alongside their Turkish Cypriots. A ceasefire was called in August that same year. This flag, on the 7th of March 1984, 10 years after the self-proclaimed and unofficial declaration of this area. It's an inverted Turkey flag, with the top red stripe representing Turkey itself, and the bottom is the island of Cyprus. There is a 425 metre by 250 metre replica of the flag facing Nicosia, the capital, and can be seen on the Southern Republic of Cyprus side well before you even enter the city. It's set on the side of a mountain called Mount Pentakselos, Penta meaning 5, Daktylos meaning fingers, so it's a 5-fingered mountain. I'm surprised they didn't change the name to 2 fingers, just to make a point to the southern Greek Cypriots. The border between North and South Cyprus is nothing like that, to say, of France and Belgium, where you can simply walk across the border without realising it. This border is a military buffer zone and is about 180 kilometres long, varies in width from just a few metres to several kilometres, and includes an entire airport, and covers around 3% of the island. You can only cross at certain checkpoints, and you'll need your passport to travel between north and south. It's patrolled by the United Nations as part of their peacekeeping regime, and to play a neutral role in the zone, which brings us to our 4th flag. The UN flag has some rather jolly words associated to it. It's a supranational flag adopted on the 7th of December 1946 by a resolution of the General Assembly. The emblem consists of a circular map of the Earth in an azimuthal equidistant project centred at the North Pole and projects the map 60 degrees south latitude if you're after such fine detail. This sits above two olive branches of peace. The blue is not defined officially, but the general use is Pantone 279. The flag version was adopted on the 20th of October 1947. However, when Argentina pointed out that they didn't appear on the original 1946 design, so it had to be tweaked early on to make sure of their inclusion. I guess they are the only other country to understand what New Zealand goes through on a regular basis. But at the beginning of the video, I told you that I was born on the wrong day because of Cyprus, and that I am connected to these various flags in some way. Well, that's because I was born right here in 1974. I know I don't look old enough. That's because my family were part of the UK Armed Forces back then and stationed here in RAF Akrotiri at the time. The coup d'etat resulted in the British trying to help the original president, who was overthrown by Greek-backed Cypriot guards. It all gets very complicated and resulted in the formation of the Northern Republic of Cyprus by Turkey and the consequential UN buffer zone, with the UK Armed Forces base being here ever since. And while I was here, the first time visiting the island since being born, I decided to find the family home to take a look to see where it all started for me. Sadly, when I got to the address in Limassol, I found that it is now, well, in fact, a Lidl, which I can't deny was a little disappointing. My brother's sandpit was behind that parked car, and our kitchen is now the freezer section in aisle 2. I guess not everything stays the same.
So how does Cyprus and its flags affect the day I was born? Well, it's all about the conflict in 1974. If that didn't happen, then there would be no UN buffer zone and no Northern Cyprus territory, so these two flags would have been out. Plus, no conflict, no need for the UK to send troops, which would have meant my parents not being stationed in Cyprus. Ipso facto, I would have been born in the UK. And here's the part about the wrong day. If I was born in England, I would have been born on a Tuesday at 11 p.m. But because my parents were in Cyprus, I was born on a Wednesday around 1 in the morning. See what I mean?
And the flags don't end there, because there are 3 more flags you'll find flying on this Mediterranean island. The flag of Europe, which is adopted by the European Union, flies in many places within the Republic area. The flag was adopted by the Council of Europe in 1955, and it became a symbol of the European Community, or the EC, in 1985, before changing its name to the European Union in 1993. And as Cyprus, well, the Republic at least, became a member on the 1st of May 2003, the flag flies proudly there alongside the national flag. And for the final 2 flags, well, you take the blue flag, and this video ends and you'll find yourself watching a video about the Greek flag. You click the red and you'll find me in Istanbul, and I'll show you how deep the red of the Turkish flag goes. Bon voyage.